Hi everyone, Abby here, and welcome back to Tech Tuesday. Today I'm going to be comparing the Fitbit Versa 3 to the Garmin Vivoactive 4S. But before I get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned to all my new videos dropping weekly, and so you can help the channel grow. So, here I have the Fitbit Versa 3 in the color Thistle Soft Gold, and this is a new color that Fitbit has released. And here I have the Garmin Vivoactive 4S in the color Dust Rose Light Gold. So today I'm going to be talking about some notable differences and similarities between these two smartwatches, and I've gone ahead and left timestamps in the description for key points I'm going to be talking about, so you can just head there if you want to jump to anything in particular. So starting off, I'm going to talk about the design. So the first obvious difference in design is that the Vivoactive 4S has a circular watch face, while the Fitbit Versa 3 has a square watch face. And we can see that the heart rate sensors differ as well. So we can see that the Fitbit heart rate sensor is smooth, and it is actually larger than the Garmin sensor in size. And here we can see that the Garmin sensor has a little bit of a bump here. I want to say that using the heart rate sensors, I'm finding both of them pretty accurate. Another difference here in design is that the Fitbit Versa 3 has just one button on the left here, and it's kind of like an indented button that's like a pressure when you push on it, whereas the Garmin Vivoactive 4S does have two physical buttons on the right side that have different functions. All right, so the second thing I'm going to talk about here is the display. So the display on the Garmin Vivoactive 4S is a translucent Garmin display, that typical Garmin display that's been around for years. Now, this Garmin display is great in, highlight situations, like if it's really sunny out, you're going to be able to see your watch face really well, and it's also really good at canceling out the glare. And it does also have a built-in brightness, so if you do tap it or if you kind of turn on gesturing, it lights up your screen. Now coming over to the Fitbit Versa 3, this one does have a AMOLED display, and this display is kind of, brighter. It has more punchy colors, more vibrant colors, but it does also have a lot more glare. And this is not an always-on display on the Fitbit here. You can kind of just turn on this display using gestures or tapping it. You can have the option to turn on always-on display for certain watch faces, but in my experience, when you do that, you only get about 2 days of battery life. So honestly, I don't think it's worth it. 2 days of battery life, I don't even consider that being a real function here because most people aren't going to use that. All right, so looking at the watch band here, there's definitely a difference in size. So we can see that the Fitbit Versa 3 does have a larger watch band than the Garmin Vivoactive 4S. And just comparing them side by side, you can see there's definitely a couple millimeters of difference here. And in addition to the size difference, there's a difference in, the way that these watch bands function. So on the Garmin Vivoactive 4S, we have the traditional, clasp watch band, and it does have a quick release mechanism, and it's 18 millimeter band. And on the Fitbit Versa 3, we have Fitbit's new Infinity band. So this one has a completely different kind of mechanism on how you take it out and put it in. And in my experience, I definitely find the Infinity band harder to use than the quick release bands, just in my experience. You kind of have to push it down with your thumb and then pull it out, but doing both simultaneously with one hand is difficult. And I find that if you push too much, you can break it. So that's something to keep in mind there. You do have to be kind of careful when you are taking out the band. That can just be a difficulty for me. Others might not have that issue, but I definitely find it easier to replace the bands on the Garmin Vivoactive 4S. Another thing about the bands is that the Fitbit Versa 3 does come with two size bands. It comes with a small and a large band. However, the Garmin Vivoactive 4S just comes with one size band. I will say that the watch band that is included with the Garmin Vivoactive 4S can fit a variety of different wrists. I do have a 7-inch wrist and it fits me really well. They both have smooth silicone that is on your wrist and it's very comfortable to wear. And here we can see that the Garmin Vivoactive 4S does have a nice kind of gridded textured diamond pattern. And I just wanted to quickly talk about the weight because that's also a difference between these watches. So the Versa 3 has a weight of 42 grams, whereas the Vivoactive 4S has a weight of 40 grams. So they are very similar in weight and they're both lightweight on your wrist. All right, guys, so now talking about the battery life, there's definitely a difference between battery life for these two smartwatches. So the Fitbit Versa 3 has a quoted battery life of up to 6 days, whereas the Garmin Vivoactive 4S has a quoted battery life of up to 7 days. Now, in terms of my uses, which I'm going to put on screen for you guys, finding that the battery life is not as good as quoted, guys. So on the Fitbit Versa 3, I'm finding the battery only lasts about 4 days, like 3 to 4 days really, just with my uses, while the Garmin Vivoactive 4S actually lasts about 5 days solidly with my uses. All right, so now I'm just going to show you guys the boxes so you can see what they look like up close. They both kind of show generally what the watches can do, but I do like the way that Garmin kind of lists all the stats right there for you on the box. I just think that's more kind of user-friendly. So now I want to talk about music, which is really important to me. On the Fitbit Versa 3, you cannot, I repeat, cannot download your Spotify playlist or your own physical music that you have stored on your computer onto this watch. That was something that is very frustrating to me because you used to be able to do that on the Versa, but they took it off for the Versa 3. So the only way for you to download music is to get like a Deezer subscription and download your playlist there, which I personally am not going to do. I have Spotify already. I love using it. So what you can do with the Versa 3 is that you can use it to control your music from your wrist if you have your phone already with you. So basically you like sync your phone to your Versa 3 and then open Spotify, and then you can use, your watch to control Spotify. It's not ideal. However, with the Garmin Vivoactive 4S, you can download your music. You can download music that you have from your physical computer. You can download Spotify music and playlists, and you can download using Deezer, Amazon Music, and more. And you can actually physically download them onto your watch so you can use it phone free. And for me, that's huge because sometimes I just don't want to carry my phone with me if I'm like going for a walk or a run. I just want to be like light. And a lot of the times I'm wearing, leggings that don't have pockets. So having the option to just go with no phone is fantastic. And I do want to let you guys know that both of these watches have Bluetooth capabilities, so you're able to just like pair your wireless headphones to them, so you can kind of just like use that instead of using your phone. One function that the Fitbit Versa 3 has that the Garmin Vivoactive 4S doesn't is that it does have like Alexa or Google Assistant built in. So you have the option to use either of those, which some people might really enjoy. And it does have a built-in mic here where you can like talk to it, and you can also take phone calls, off your wrist if your phone is within range and synced to your smartwatch. So that might be a great feature for you if that's something you're interested in. But I do want to say that I've set mine up to use it with Google Assistant, and I want to say that it's faulty. I will all the time talk to Google, and then it will be like, oh, not connected to your phone. It's just very glitchy. I'd say it works maybe like every 1 out of 4 times. And because you're only able to take phone calls if your Versa 3 is in range of your phone, I'd rather just take a call on my phone than with my watch. All right, guys, so now I'm just going to talk about kind of ease of use and how to use it. So the Garmin Vivoactive 4S does have 2 buttons on the right here, and these buttons I find are super helpful. I really like the 2 buttons here, different functionalities, they work well. Here now with the Fitbit Versa 3, it does have 1 button. I'm not a huge fan of the 1 button here, but other than that, it works great. It's very quick to use it. And so in terms of ease of use here, I find the Garmin Vivoactive 4S easier to use, in my opinion. So now I want to talk about fitness activity tracking accuracy. The Fitbit Versa 3 is not as accurate. I will tell you guys that off the jump. It records less steps. It records less distance as well. Like I went for a 5K walk, and this recorded me walking 4.5K, whereas my Garmin recorded me walking 5.01, which is accurate. I mean, personally, some people might not find that as a big difference, but for me, I do. I like my activities to be monitored accurately, and I don't like, the Versa telling me that I didn't walk 5K when I know I did. Other than that, I do find the heart rate monitors for both are very accurate. And just using the built-in GPS, because both of these do have a built-in GPS, using them for a walk, I will definitely say that the Garmin Vivoactive 4S has a better built-in GPS. It takes about sometimes a minute to 2 minutes to actually connect once you get outside. And it's pretty accurate when it comes to determining your pace and your distance and all that stuff. But with the Fitbit Versa 3, it's not as accurate here. So I want to say that it connected to the GPS faster than the Garmin did. But once it was connected, I had a disconnect on me 2 times. It just kind of lost signal randomly. And during that time, it wasn't recording anything. So it was kind of frustrating to me to have it just randomly disconnect when I'm going on my walk, because I want it to, be accurate and recording everything. And with the pace, it recorded me going slower than I actually was. So that was something that I also found a little frustrating. I wish that it could have been more accurate in that instance. So I think that they definitely need to kind of fix their accuracy on the built-in GPS, because I know that when I was using previous Fitbits, like the Inspire 2 with the Connect GPS off my phone, it was definitely like spot on accuracy with my Garmin there. All right, guys. So lastly, I'm going to talk about the sleep accuracy. So both of these fitness trackers do track your sleep, and they also have options to track your SpO2. So you can track that kind of continuously during the day, or you can track it just at night. I have that SpO2 turned off because it does kind of impact your battery life a lot more. Fitbit is the best sleep tracker on the market, in my opinion, after trying so many. Fitbit wins here. So I have on screen, you can see my sleeping data on my Fitbit and on my Garmin. So Fitbit is more accurate. They can tell exactly when you're sleeping, when you're awake, when you're in deep sleep, REM sleep, all that stuff accurately. And the Garmin is not as accurate, especially when it comes to time awake. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, you were awake for 4 minutes during the night. And I'm just like, no, I wasn't. Or, I was awake for half an hour. Like, I woke up during the night, I went to get a glass of water or something. Sometimes the Garmin doesn't really track that. Like, even if you're just up in bed, like on your phone, it will track you as sleeping when you weren't sleeping. So in terms of here, you can see that the Fitbit is more accurate in terms of the duration of my sleep and each period of my sleep versus the Garmin, which is less accurate here. The Garmin Vivoactive 4S is good at sleep tracking. It's not horrible by any means. It's just not as accurate as the Fitbit is. If you're asking me which one is better, which one, I prefer the Garmin Vivoactive 4S. That has been my kind of staple smartwatch for a while now, and I think it's going to be for another while. Also, as the Garmin Vivoactive 4S has a lot more functions than the Versa 3, I've gone ahead and listed them on screen for you so you can see Vivoactive 4S can do that the Fitbit Versa 3 can't. So just because it has all the extra functionality, it's more useful for me. And it also comes down to, design preference. Like, do you want a square watch face? Do you want a circular watch face? All right, guys, so there's definitely a difference in price between these two smartwatches. So the Fitbit Versa 3 retails for $299.99 Canadian plus tax, or $229.95 American. And the Garmin Vivoactive 4S retails for $479.99 Canadian, or $349.99 USD. Overall, I think these are both excellent smartwatches, and if you pick up either, I think you'll be happy. Now, determining which one is best for you, decide which functions are most important to you. If you're someone who cares about your sleep data more, if you like square watch faces, if you like the AMOLED display, you might want to go for the Fitbit Versa 3. If you're someone who likes circular watch faces, a little bit thinner of a watch band, always on display, better battery life, and accurate activity tracking and more functions overall, you might want to go for the Garmin Vivoactive 4S. So if you're looking to buy the Garmin Vivoactive 4S or the Fitbit Versa 3, I'm going to go ahead and place a link in the description for you to use. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you did find it helpful. And if you want to see me review anything else, drop down in the comments and I'll check it out. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!